Hello fellow YouTubers, Trouble8385 here with YouTube Gaming Community number 20. So we're going to start off today with a video by XPRENTS. Let's rant copyright claims. Now, you're going to see more videos about copyright claims and rants about it as we go on YouTube. Okay? Because, his video, to tell you a little bit about it. His 200th video, he had gone into the Sims game, got Sim music, and used a Sim song. His 200th video. A month later, he got a copyright claim on it. Okay. So then he later did a video, ranting in the fact he had a copyright claim because that song, and he showed that song, he showed YouTube playing the other video in that video. And so he got another copyright claim from a different company on him. Now there are ways where this is possible, because music in movies, what usually happens is, the person who paid for and made the movie, and the person who signed the recording artist and made the album, right? What normally happens is they usually license, or I guess sell the rights to those movies to other companies to release them in other countries. So, for example, here in the United States, New Line Cinema could release a movie, but over in Europe, Warner Brothers bought the rights to release that movie. And because there's so many different people who may release to so many different companies with the rights, now technically, all these people could file a copyright claim against you for the music. And again, this is a lot of companies have not come on YouTube to enforce the copyright yet. It will get worse as more and more get more adapt to the internet. Okay, RA is by far the worst because RA is almost like a mob mentality, mobster mentality. I mean, I've never seen a business like music attack their customers or go after their customers so much. Why would the customers buy your product if you're going after them? So, and it sucks, let's be honest, because the people usually put the music in their video, put a clip on their channel, put a whole clip, part of music. They're usually people who like it, right? And they put it up there because they want other people to hear it or see it and may like it, and maybe they'll go buy it or become a fan of it, buy the merchandise, whatever. And these people who put it up there aren't getting paid for it. They're not doing it for money. They're doing it because they love it. And for them to get the copyright claim sucks. Be honest here. But the truth is, it's not usually the business. It's usually the business either hires an attorney office or the business has in-home attorneys, and their job is simply copyright claim. And what they do is they scour anywhere they see copyright claim and they file, copyright on it. And like YouTube, I'm sure they can ask YouTube, and I'm sure YouTube has a search. I know YouTube has a search algorithm. They search for it, and then they give them the list. And they probably just file blank copyright against everybody. And these attorneys aren't biased. They don't look to see if the person liked it or not. It's copyright infringement. Everybody. And as more companies realize the internet's there and people are doing that, you're going to see more of these. This is going to become a bigger thing in the community. And it does suck because you're making videos, like when I got my Canyon Lynch 2 copyright claim, making videos, have fun, and then you get one of those, and it's like, why do I gotta make a video if possibly they could take my video down or get me kicked on YouTube because I might have put a 2-second piece of music on? I think the only way it would be possibly around it would be if you had the radio on and had to play the song. I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure. But something we're going to have to deal with. Next up, I want to talk about HappyConsoleGamer's HCG Q&A Part 2, 3, and 4 with Gamester81. Now, Part 2 was probably the most interesting out of these three I'm going to talk about. First of all, it's how they started on YouTube. Or how they started, why they started. And I think the next thing that they did that I think is probably true for a lot of people, if you've made videos for 6 to 12 months, how you originally envisioned your channel, what you're going to do, and what your channel ends up becoming, and how different it was than what you originally thought it would be. Like this channel, I originally thought, well, I'm going to do pickups, I'm going to do gameplay. Well, I'm doing this now. Drastically different than I thought it would be. Though I'm having loads more fun doing this. because I just felt like a small fish. Well, I'm making the same thing everybody else is making. And it is cool doing pickup videos. Don't get me wrong, showing people what you got. Hey, here's what I got. And people saying, hey, man, congratulations, man, I wish I had that. Or their memories of it. That's always cool when people tell you their memories of that game that you show. It's really cool. But gameplay, I mean, everybody has gameplay. Now, part 3, oh wait, one other thing. Sorry. Then they go on to how to make how they make their videos. And I think one of the interesting quotes in that second part video was by Johnny Mullane was, some people get a lot of subs and get an ego on YouTube, and he makes the point that's not the point of YouTube. The point of YouTube is to have fun and to appreciate every person who either views your video or subs you. Now, part 3 was simply how he met Rob Man and a little bit about the pre-internet days playing video games, where you couldn't go online and search the whole walkthrough. You know, back then you had to go to your EGM, your Nintendo Power, and get the how many parts it was in the magazines to do it. And then, like, I think it was it Super Metroid or Metroid in Nintendo Power? My friend had it, the big fold-out, you know, the fold-out thing of the whole level. And how back then you died, not today, where you can, like, regain your health in games and stuff. And the final part was simply what you did not know about them, simple facts or things about them you did not know. One thing I want to touch about that 4th video. Gamester81 had talked about how his wife's always been supportive of doing it, and he had talked about simply a very cool thing, which was, you know, I don't know, his enthusiasm with his wife kind of started getting interesting in the games, you know, and he had done his Intellivision review, and he said his wife had said, well, those games look interesting. And he said that night him and his wife had a retro night and just played Intellivision. Let's be honest, if your spouse or girlfriend's not supportive, because I had a couple of comments about my wife, you know, in our video game history, about that. If your girlfriend or wife, whatever, is not supportive, it can get very hard. I asked my wife this question, because about midway through our relationship, since we've been together, video gaming became a kind of a fight, a problem, because she wasn't in gaming anymore, and I asked her, you know, why this was a problem. And she said, number one, that it seemed like video gaming was my top priority, number one. Not her, not other things that need to be done. It was just video gaming was my top priority. Heck with everything else, just video gaming. And that's partially probably true. The other reason she said was I wasn't doing other things that need to be done. I was ignoring everything but doing that. The truth is, honestly, you know, video gaming, YouTube videos are not, more importantly, life and family, right? You only get a short time with them. That is more important. You can always go back and play that game later. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is Mister Intellivision again. Well, his channel's closed, so now it's formerly Mister Intellivision, now RetrogamerINTV, and not so much him. I went to his channel page today, just to look at it, make sure everything was cool, nothing. I had mentioned how Jake TV370, the Trigger guy, I'm not going to mention his whole name because it's just an ignorant name, whose channel is now gone, had put Jake TV370 as his main account right on there. Now, he could have done it because he doesn't like the guy or throw people off, you know, direct everybody his way, because you could put anybody on your checkout channel list, you know, they can't say yes or no. And anyway, he left a comment 3 days ago, and it was directed at the Super Nintendo man, NES man. Now, let me say this. To leave a comment for somebody else on somebody else's channel page because they left a comment there, it's kind of rude to the person who has the channel. And secondly, because you just left a regular old comment on that page, not like a reply, the person you comment to is not going to see it unless they go to the channel page. Why didn't you just send a message to the guy that you had a problem with? But anyway, I'll read it off anyway. First of all, he doesn't call him Super NES man, he calls him Super NES fag. His comment was, I'm pretty sure neither can beat the other word for poop out of anybody. Honestly, posting videos of gaming systems for 5 minutes is not entertaining or hardcore. GTFO now. Now, part of the comment was probably simply him referring that Super NES man made a comment about, I don't know, was it hitting him or punching him or something like that, so he's reacting, you know, okay. But then 2 days ago, his other comment was, how the F, and I don't think I even need to tell you what word that is, did you get 180 subs? Retards these days. Okay, now he's become a troll. Now my benefit of the doubt has waned. Apparently he has a problem with Mister Intellivision. I'm not going to even speculate if he was the other guys, I don't really care. But apparently he has a trouble with Mister Intellivision. So he posts this in his page. Why couldn't he simply send, if he had this big a problem with him, why couldn't he simply send him a message? If keeps it up, he's another guy who's gonna. I mean, I don't see the point of doing this. What do you have to gain to leaving a comment on the guy's channel page? Make you cool? Hope he doesn't see it? Or a way like Super Instrument, a way of saying something to him without actually hoping he never sees it? Kind of like a guy who pretends like he wants to get in a fight but really doesn't? So, next up I want to get a couple comments from my past videos. So the first one is from 19 Part 2, YouTube Community 19. AxeBlacks84, it said, I have to give you props for having 2 to 4 videos weekly, especially with the family. But yeah, don't overdo it for yourself, man. You're highlighting a lot of random people in the community and actively seeking them out. I read the whole thing. But truthfully, you cannot make videos on YouTube unless you have your family support. Because it'll turn into a fight. They'll feel it's YouTube versus them. Just like gaming, you have to have their support. I could not do this a couple days a week, quite honestly, with the support of my wife. Be honest, if she didn't support me, it wasn't so nice about this, I couldn't do this. She deserves a lot of credit for that. Also deserves a credit, she basically produces the show, because she watches our video and she gives me her honest feedback. And it helps a lot. Sometimes, you don't see those things and she gives feedback like, yeah, you're right. Now, one of the funniest things she does real quick, when I always start the beating off, hey fellow YouTubers, she always will sit there and watch my video and I go by and she goes, she always makes me go, hey fellow YouTubers. I just do it out of habit, quite frankly. But anyway, thanks for the nice comment, by the way. And I did not, by the way, do that so people would say, hey, don't leave YouTube. Some people had said, hey, hope you don't leave the community lecture, blah, blah. I wasn't leaving. I enjoy this too much. It was just me stating. Now, any format changes I make to the actual show, not actually days, I'm not going to talk about, because it comes to a point where you're whining, where it's all about you, oh, this has become a problem, so I have to change this and that. No, I'm not going to do that. So next up, XJordan99X made a great point when I talked about Ikram Gaming, getting, the comments he got towards his Xbox 360 repair tutorial. His quote was, I gave advice to someone who had capture card. It skipped, advising maybe tweaking the settings a little bit and so forth, and I got blown off. My support and advice got bounced right off him. He didn't even appreciate it. Now my comments are being ignored and all I did was offer support and advice. Safe to say, it'll be the last time I give out support and advice again. Now let me say this. I wouldn't be discouraged to give support and advice. The only thing I guess I could recommend to anybody to do was when someone does something like just say, hey man, if you need any help, let me know. Some cases it might be someone's pride when you say, hey, you're doing this wrong. They think that you think that you're better than them, even though you weren't, or maybe they think, they read it the wrong way. This is the internet. It's letters. It's not actually you sitting face to face. So maybe they misinterpreted it. And so, and again, it could be their pride where they're like, are you challenging me? You think I can't do it? You think I can't fix it myself? Or maybe simply the person doesn't care to fix it. Maybe they don't have the mind to fix it or do what's right, and they just don't want to tell you. Again, I don't know. I wouldn't discourage giving support. I'll give you an example. Back when I said my NES I got from my pawn shop, which turned out to be the one I originally had as a kid, which was cool, I showed a long time ago, I had mentioned how, light kept blinking, and Arcade Machine Hey told me how, what I would need to replace it, possibly replace. And then Vinny Blacklog had mentioned that anytime he's ever had a problem like that, he's always cleaned the cartridges, and it seemed to work perfectly fine. I am going to use that someday, really am. My wife's been actually getting me on that because of that Gauntlet 2 game she got for Christmas. She wants to see if it works. So, I need to get to that. I am actually cleaning up right now because by Christmas, we are going to have that game room done. So, anyway guys, that's all for this one. So, see you Thursday.